This AI agent does technical analysis for you. Give me an analysis for Bitcoin and send off this message. Like you can see, first the technical agent thinks about which tool to use. Then he decides to use the technical analysis tool. After that he thinks again what tool to use and decided to use the news tool. Now he's thinking about which answer to give and sends a reply back. Let's see the results. First, our AI agent provides a candlestick chart of the symbol. Then he sends a technical analysis for us. That includes key technical observations like the current trend or the volume and also the sentiment of the market. It also factors in current news and gives based on that an overall assessment of the market. Important disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as a real financial advice. And before I give you a full breakdown of this build, make sure to download the free template down below so you can simply import this whole build in your own workflow without manual setup needed. Also make sure to check out my school community if you want to take your AI skills to the next level. We take you from a complete beginner to a pro and provide you many premium templates that you can directly incorporate in your workflows. The communication with the technical AI agent happens through Telegram because it's easy to set up and can be installed on every phone. The whole agent itself is built out in n8n. n8n is basically a website where you can sign in and then you see this dashboard in your browser. If you click create workflow, you're able to create any workflow you like. It's very simple to use, it's all drag and drop and all without any code. These elements here are called nodes. They're easy to modify when you double click on them. They're also easy to add by clicking this plus icon and type in what you need, for example Telegram. Besides that, when you click inside the node, you can click execute step and test each step. For example, when I click now execute step and send the message hello 123, we can see we'll receive this message here with some metadata like the first name or chat ID. Let's go back to Canvas. The next thing what happens is the message will be passed to the technical AI agent. Let's see what's inside. To provide the message to the technical AI agent, you need to provide this message under prompt. You can do that by simply clicking here expression and drag and dropping this element here. You also see the actual message for this variable. Besides that, you can provide the system message for this AI agent. My system message is pretty short, but you can adjust it to your needs. I basically instruct the AI agent what to do depending on the request. For example, when asked to do an analysis, you first do a technical analysis and then you check the latest news for that symbol. Like you can remember when we asked for the Bitcoin analysis, the technical AI agent was first thinking what tool to use and then decided to use the technical analysis tool. And after that, he decided to use the news tool because it was instructed to do so. Besides that, you don't need to set up here anything. Let's go back to Canvas. So the technical AI agent has now the message from us and the instructions what to do with this message. To decide what to do, it needs a chat model. It's basically like ChatGPT, Claude or Gemini. Let's see what's here inside. To provide the chat model, I use OpenRouter because here I can choose any model I want. For example, Claude Sonnet 4, ChatGPT or 4 Mini or any OpenAI model or any Google model. Let's go back to Canvas. This is technically the brain for this AI agent. What this brain also has is a memory and tools. Let's see what's inside the memory. Inside the memory, we just provide the key, for example, the chat ID. This way, the AI agent has access to the whole conversation for the last 5 messages. This way, the AI agent is much smarter and you can ask follow-up questions. But the tools are what make the AI agent a game changer compared to your normal ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. Because they allow the agent to take actions and receive further information. For example, the technical analysis tool. This tool has a short description what the AI agent can do with it. This tool takes 3 inputs, the symbol, the prompt and the Telegram chat ID. The symbol and the prompt are defined by the chat model itself. Since this chat model itself figures out how to fill out this information, we give it a short description how to provide the correct information. For example, for the symbol, I provided a whole list of symbols that the AI can use. But what actually happens in the background is a second workflow is called. It's this simple workflow. This one is executed by another workflow. In this node, we define the inputs for this workflow. In this case, symbol, prompt, and Telegram chat ID. What happened next is the create chart node calls this API service with these parameters, like for example, the symbol. The service we are using is chartimage.com. Here you can simply sign in and receive an API key. This API key acts like a password. This service takes a real-time screenshot of the most popular chart platform TradingView. When we click execute step here to test the step, you will see you receive back an image. And if you view it, it's the current chart. Let's go back to Canvas. Next, we receive a copy of this chart in our Telegram chat. And this chart is sent to ChatGPT to make an analysis. How to do this analysis itself is defined in this node. Under text input, you can describe how this AI should do the analysis for you. Once the analysis is finished, the results are provided to our AI agent. What happens next is the agent also calls the news tool, where the only input is a symbol. What happens in the background is that we call another API that provides us with the latest news. Once the AI agent receives the technical analysis and the news, it crafts us a response. You see how powerful and simple it was to set up this whole build. So basically, the better the tools are and the description that you provide this AI agent, the better results you get. That's why I provide for my community members the premium templates that you can easily plug and play into your n8n workflow. This way you get much faster started without the error headache. Inside my community, you get also access to advanced AI agent setups you can simply plug and play into your workflow. And if you want to build it for your own, you click here the plus icon and click workflow. As the first step, you select your trigger, in this case Telegram, and select here on message, since you want the trigger to be activated when a new message arrives. Then you have to set up your Telegram credentials, what is pretty easy. Check out the video in the description box below to see how to do it. Then you click execute step and send the message on Telegram. Here receive the message test and go back to Canvas. Then we click the plus icon here and select AI and AI agent. Under source for prompt, we select define below and drag and drop our text message here. Then under options, you select system message and copy and paste your system message here. By the way, you can find the system message in the template I provide for free. Then we go back to Canvas and select first our chat model and type in here open router and select open router. Here again, you have to set up your credentials and select the correct model and go back to Canvas. Then you want to add the memory by clicking here the plus icon and select a simple memory. For session ID, click define below and drag and drop your chat ID from Telegram here and click go back to Canvas. Technically, your AI agent can do already things. Let's see. When we click here execute step, you see you receive already a response, but it's not so good because it doesn't have access to any tools. Let's go back to Canvas. But before we send up the tools, let's send a reply. Telegram and select under action, send a text message. Since we already set up our credentials, we don't need to do that again. And we just need to provide the chat ID and text message. We can find both here on the left side. The chat ID is here. And the response we take from our AI agent. And click execute step. If everything worked fine, you should just receive the message back. And let's go back to Canvas. Don't forget to click save. Now we need to provide the tools for our AI agent. For that, we click here the plus icon and select call n8n workflow tool. Here we have to give this tool first a description, what it can do. Then we have to select from other workflows the workflow we like. For example, the charts sub-workflow. For simple and prompt, I let the AI decide how to fill this out. And for our Telegram chat ID, I simply drag and drop the chat ID from here. Here's the description for the tool. And I also like to provide a symbol description, since I can then define all possible combinations that are available. And now we can go back to Canvas, click save, and click execute workflow. When I now instruct my AI agent to give me a Bitcoin analysis, we see our AI agent thinks about which tool to use and decided to use our chart tool. And now our AI agent was able to give us a full analysis. And last thing we have to do is to rename our node so we know what tool it is. For that, I click here inside and call it charting tool and go back to Canvas and click save. And if you also want to build the sub workflow, you click here. The hardest part is to set up this node, since for that we need the HTTP node. To figure out how to set up this correctly, we need to go to the documentation here and check how to set it up. What I usually do is I do Command A and then Command C, then select 4O mini, and then I type in what I want. Provide me a cure command so I can use it in n8n. I want a chart image back for a given symbol. And I provide the whole documentation and send this off. Now ChatGPT provides me a curl command. I copy it, go back to my workflow, click here at plus icon and type in HTTP request and select here import curl and paste it here. Now most of the things are set up. I just need to set up my credentials, for example, or provide the right symbol, but this usually already works. It does not work on the first time, but with some try and error, and I usually just provide the error directly to ChatGPT, where you can get everything quickly up and running. So once you set up the create chart node, the other nodes are pretty easy to set up, since you can click here the plus icon and just type in, for example, OpenAI, select the OpenAI node, and select here analyze image. Then you simply select the model and provide your instructions what to analyze exactly. Then you select your input type as binary file in this case, and then you got it already. So you see how simple it is to set up everything in n8n with the right guidance. And if you want to learn more how to set up your own AI agent, make sure to join my community. I hope you liked this tutorial and see you in the next one.